Hello, everyone. Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. Good morning. So it depends on the part of the world you're living. So welcome again to my page, and also welcome to my channel, Students Moss. And today, a question came in. So there was one of my subscribers. They had a question about the new supply. They had a question about what exactly is going on with the new supply. They were a bit worried about, the new supply. They were thinking that yes, or because probably they were discarded because maybe the narcissist had found somebody much more better than them. And then after careful consideration on this subject, I came up with something called the narcissist downgrade. Now, first of all, take a moment, please like the page, share, and subscribe. Of course, if this content resonates with you, and always you can share this material with the people out there, content with the people out there. And always remember to push the like button, because then it does something with the algorithm with the YouTube, and the video can always reach so many people out there. It can always spread it out there to so many people. Now, without wasting time, let's go into this subject, the narcissist downgrade. Now, when you've been discarded, I'll give you an example. If you're living with a narcissist and you give them money to go to the shops and buy you a loaf of bread, what a narcissist will do basically is they will go to the shelves and pick up the very first loaf of bread they will see on the shops, on the shelves. And for them, it does not matter. They will not check what is the expiration date of that loaf of bread. For a narcissist, that doesn't matter. They just pick up the bread and bring it home anyway. And before you know it, it is either the bread probably is going to expire the next day, or the bread is going to expire in a few days. So usually they just pick up whatever is close to them on the shelves. If you send them out to the shops to buy you a loaf of bread. Now, technically, there is no apparent reason why you should be worried about the new supply, because I've always told in my videos that usually these people, they are very impulsive, and they do not consider their actions. Normally, when they are dealing with individuals, when they do not consider their actions, and they do not have any the ability to consider what are they jumping into and what are their next moves. They don't have the ability to figure out all these kind of the details. They don't have the capacity to figure out all these details before they jump into a new relationship. And you also have to remind yourself that these people, when they met you, you were a very nice individual, very full of energy. You had a lot to offer. You had a lot on the plate. But then the only thing you didn't know is that you were just dealing with the narcissist. So you didn't know the details of this whole thing. And somewhere down the road, you realize that you had lost everything about you had lost everything. You had lost all your money. You had lost your energy. You were low on fuel. So then eventually you were discarded. And then when they discard you, in a very short time, of course, you've seen them picking up somebody new and moving into a new relationship. Of course, that person is not there by accident. That person has been groomed before you. Even when they were still with you, the person has been groomed for a while. And the only reason why now you're seeing that individual in your place is because the person has been groomed enough to be considered to be a new source of supply. But I can assure you there's nothing to worry about, and there is no reason for you to beat up yourself and to resent yourself, because either way, you have got to be sure that by all means, the narcissist has already downgraded. I've given you an example whereby you send them to the shops and they buy for you a loaf of bread, which is actually almost expired, almost like the dates are running out, and they just pick up the bread and bring it home. And before you know it, the bread has got mold over it. Before you know it, even before you start to eat it. So normally what happens with the narcissist is that they will pick up those people, those individuals, the new supplies, bring them home. And while you are somewhere crying and beating yourself up, trying to put a finger on the issue, even what led you to guys to separate, put everything into account, try to understand exactly what was the situation, what exactly went down, what happened. You're trying to add all the puzzles and nothing fits. You're also hurting that, yes, okay, so probably they moved you, and you're very, very much worried and afraid and scared, and thinking that probably the person they have gotten with is much more better than you, is 1,000 times better than you. But let me assure you, and I can talk that from experience, that those people are not better than you in any way. And those people, actually, you should even feel sorry for them. You shouldn't worry about yourself. Yes, you're going to worry about yourself, definitely. That is natural. You're going to worry about yourself. But then you shouldn't put it too much into consideration, because first of all, those people they have downgraded. Why they have downgraded? Because those people they have gotten into relationships with, they haven't taken time to carefully study them and understand them on deep level, who they are exactly, who they are, where they are from, and what is everything about them, their backgrounds, what they are capable of. And most of the time, those narcissists, because they do not have the ability to think very well, they're going around there and picking up whatever they can get from the shelves, as long as it looks nice and as long as it has got something that they need and something that is of value to them. So they just go up there on the shelves and pick up those people and bring them into your position and make them the new sources of supply. So they discard you and make those people the new source of supply. But I can assure you that within a very short period of time, of course, if you're there to witness, you realize that if you're there to witness the events that are going to happen in the next couple of weeks or months, you're always going to realize that the narcissist is actually struggling. They are struggling very, very deep, because those people, first of all, usually because they have not taken the time to study those people and to get a proper background check on those individuals. So they don't have that time to do the background checks on those individuals, and they bring them in very quickly. And before you know it, I can guarantee you, those individuals, they are way worse. They are way worse than you, because first of all, you need to remember that when those people were courting, when a narcissist was courting with those new people, with those new sources of supply, they have been telling them a lot about you. So they told them almost everything about you. They told them even how you sleep. They told them how you guys have sex. They told them how you guys spend your day at home. They have told them everything about you, because the narcissist, when they are grooming somebody outside, they have to use your name, you who is in that relationship. They have to use you as a backup. You know what I mean? So they back up they try to back up their decisions to move in with those people using your name. So they told all those people everything about you, and in most of the cases, usually those people already, they know everything about you. They know how you sleep. They know what food you eat. They know what clothes you wear. They know your social media sites. And those people, what they do, because they have not yet found out who the narcissist is, because of course, definitely when they in the beginning, when they are meeting those individuals, they will not tell them everything about them. So those new people, whoever they are dating, they will never know anything about the narcissist in the beginning. Of course, apart from those small things the narcissist will show them, but they will never know the details that they're actually dealing with the master manipulator. And what they will do now, those people, the new supplies, before even they enter the relationship, what they will do, they will check you out on social media, they will check you out, they will ask some friends, they will check you out on your accounts, and then they will see what your lifestyle looks like. And then because now they are trying to impress the narcissist, to make him or her convinced that yes, they are the right fit for the relationship. So they want to make sure that they drag you out, they break up the two of you, and eventually jump into that relationship with your ex. So they will try to amplify whatever you've been doing with the narcissist. So they will try to amplify it and put it like somewhere up there, so that when they come into the relationship, everything will look like, oh, this is gold. You know, they've just hit the jackpot somehow. But eventually, when they get in there, you know, it is not going to take them weeks, months, I don't know, depends. But usually it doesn't take long before actually those people, the new supplies, they actually find out. They may not find out, of course, that they're with the narcissist, but they will find out that there are some of those things they are seeing about those individuals that actually they are not, they can't handle and they cannot take. So they will never take it the way you have taken it. Believe me or not, the narcissist has always had it worse. When they discarded you and moved on with the new supply, they have always had it worse than even when it was with you. So it is always a downgrade. They have always downgraded. And before they know it, a couple of months down the road, somewhere down the road, they are going to realize that actually the new supplies, they are way worse even than you. Because remember, you've been with these people for years. You've been with them for 10 years. You've been with them for 20 years, 15 years. I don't know how long. You've been with them for a long period of time. And for them, you've been always the best source because you have been there and stood with them and done everything the way it should be according to the narcissistic orders. According to the narcissist orders, you have always performed your duties according to their orders. But sometimes the new supply will not take that. They can't handle that. This can be a situation whereby, for example, let me give you an example. You can find that when the narcissist met you and they had been like single for a couple of time, maybe a couple of months, because it is not always that the narcissist has got a ready source of supply waiting for them to move into a relationship with them. It's not always like that. Sometimes it can happen that they are struggling to find somebody, but it's not always a situation whereby somebody is ready to move in with them. So you can find sometimes a narcissist who is actually single for a couple of weeks or maybe a couple of months before actually they get a potential partner. So if it has been that situation whereby the narcissist had been struggling before actually finding you, finding a partner for them, finding a partner to stay with them, then in that way, the situation is different because then they do not have a supplement source on the side, because if you have met this narcissist when they have been single for a period of time, that means that they do not have a potential supply, like for example an ex somewhere, like for example an ex that if something goes wrong with you, they can always jump into a new relationship with them, well, with those exes of theirs. So it's not like that, you know what I mean? So it's like when they discard you and move in with a new source of supply, you shouldn't be worried. Because why? The very minute they have decided to leave you and go into a new relationship with a new supply, that alone in itself means they have not taken the time to study those people and they have just picked them off, go into a relationship with them, even because they definitely know that it's not going to work out. They know that it's not going to work out. They know that somewhere down the road things are going to become very, very bad and very, very, very sour in the relationship. And then they know that actually anytime they need, they will just drop off those new sources of supply and come back and pick you up, because you are the person who has always been there for years, 10 years, 20 years with them. You're the one who knows them. You are the one who can abuse. They can abuse, and you can always stand there. You are the one who can always take their orders. And sometimes which is not the case with that new source of supply, because the new source of supply sometimes they cannot handle the orders. When they notice or they ever notice that something is wrong with those people, some of them they do not have that patience that you had. They're not the same patient people like you who will just sit there and take the orders from the narcissist and do whatever they want them to do. Some of them, they cannot handle that. And sometimes even you can find them that some of them, they will even decide to like terminate the relationship, even before it goes lengthy. Of course, before it goes longer. You know what I mean? So they can decide to terminate the relationship. And the narcissist always knows that if he or she terminates that relationship with you, they can always go back to you and pick you up wherever you are, and come back to that relationship, and then eventually, as they are now still figuring out what are they going to do with that source of supply. So this is like a mind game. I just want to make it clear in this video that there's nothing to worry about. You know what I mean? If you've been discarded, for me, in my opinion, I think you should. The best you can do for yourself is just like proceed with healing, proceed with healing and take the proper steps, heal yourself and, recover and do whatever it takes in your power, whatever you can in your power to make sure that you can move on successfully and, heal and move on successfully, and then you're never going back. You know what I mean? But with the new source of supply, believe me or not, usually the narcissist has downgraded. Yes, they will not know it because they don't have that program which allows them to properly analyze the new people they have, the new relationships, or those people they have brought into their lives. They cannot analyze that correctly. They cannot correctly analyze and understand those people and exactly know who they are exactly. So they will just jump into those relationships because they know, yes, they can just discard you for 1 or 2 or 3 weeks. And then when those people, they are not good enough or something's wrong with them, then they can then now discard them and come and pick you back up into the relationship. So that's how it works. You know what I mean? So there's nothing to worry about. I've had so many cases actually whereby those narcissists, they have discarded people, and then eventually they are all of a sudden throwing out the new supplies, and then also now coming back and picking the old supplies from wherever they have discarded them and bringing them back into a relationship. So normally what happens is that the narcissists, they have downgraded. So you don't have to stand somewhere and beat yourself up and start thinking that, probably you weren't any good, you weren't worthy, you weren't good for those people. You cannot just sit down somewhere and feel sorry for yourself and beat yourself up. Because I can guarantee you the mere fact that you've been with the narcissist for so many periods of time, many years with them, that alone in itself is proof that you have been the best supply for the narcissist. But it's just because that somehow down the road, you have run low on fuel. And it is just, it has been never about you, but it's just because you have run low on fuel because of the intensive abuse you have been experiencing with the narcissist. And that is the reason why you had to be put off somewhere so that you can regenerate yourself, recharge yourself, regenerate. And then they will bring in somebody new very quickly, somebody who can fill up the gap in a very short period of time. Then they will check him out, of course. They will check him and what is he capable of and this and that. So, but eventually, most of the times I've had so many cases that the narcissists, they have downgraded, because I can guarantee you that those new supplies, the cycle is going to be the same. There's not going to be any different. There will never be any difference between you and the new sources of supply that the narcissists have got. It is going to be a replay. The narcissist, whenever they get into a relationship, they push the replay button. So the game starts again. The same game started with you, the same game starts with those new people. So me, I think that, in my opinion, there's no reason for you to... You shouldn't focus on those new individuals they are dating. First of all, you have to be confident that, first of all, you're better than them. And that is one of the reasons why you are able to persevere along, to endure a very long relationship with the narcissist, years, 10, 20. Which is very less likely that new supply will endure, because it's not always... People are not made up of the same genetics. People are not made up of the same DNA. Everybody has got their own DNA, and you being an empath, in itself, that in itself is one of the reasons why a narcissist can be able to survive a long-term relationship with you, because you are an empath. But most of the time, the narcissists have jumped into toxic relationships. So they are moved from an empath, somebody of a good source to them, devalued them, de-energized them, devalued them, dropped them off somewhere, and then moved on with somebody new. But most of the time, I can guarantee you for a fact that it is never worth it, because those people, they do not know, first of all, how to handle the knack. Most of them, they have got their own style. So probably sometimes they're not even empaths, because the narcissist has not taken the proper time to understand what those people are capable of. And before they know it, in a couple of weeks or months, that's when they are going to realize that actually they should have actually stayed with you. They should have stayed with you. Of course, they cannot do that because that's their program. They have to drop you off somewhere. But then they realize that actually the person they have jumped into a relationship with is 100 times even worse than you. You know what I mean? For my my followers who have been asking about the downgrades, the new source of supply, what they think about them, that is my opinion about it, and there's nothing for you to worry about. The only thing you can do for yourself, and the best thing you'll ever do for yourself, is move towards recovery and keep on healing yourself and never look back for whichever reasons. Because even if the Hoovers are coming, you have got to be confident that the cycle is going to start again. Yes, they are going to come, bring you back and love bomb you, even if they have dropped those new sources of supply out of the house. They're going to bring you back in that relationship. They will love bomb you a bit, and then the devaluation process will start again, and it will be the same cycle. You know what I mean? So that's why that's the reason why you find some of the people who endure narcissistic relationships for years, and sometimes even some of them even end up spending the rest of their life in abuse. But for you, if you've been lucky, and for some reason you've been discarded, I think you should even be thankful to God that you've been discarded. You should be thankful to God that finally you can get your freedom, and finally you can now upgrade. Now you can upgrade, take the lessons learned and upgrade, and move towards a new version of you. And you can always never look back and move on with your life. And I can assure you, you living a narcissist alone is just winning the jackpot. If you have left a narcissist, if they have discarded you, or if you have discarded them, I can assure you, you have just won the jackpot. There is nothing compared to your own life. There is nothing you will ever compare to your own life and your own freedom and your own personal freedom. The only fact that you have been discarded, the only fact that you have moved on, whether discarded or you've been discarded or it's you is discarded, it is as good as winning the jackpot. You've just won the jackpot, and that is it. That's the way it works. Guys, I hope it resonates. Please take a moment, like and share and subscribe. Keep on supporting the channel. If you need a one-on-one, please get in touch with me. All the information is in the description box below. And until then, hope to get back in touch with you in my next video. Peace and blessings and love.